channel. I'm so glad you stopped by today because today we are going to be doing another really fun project. I thought it'd be really cool to try and do a porcupine, plus I've never done it before and I wanted to try and mess around with doing the quills. And also, the way my brain works is it's just easier to make bigger things, and I want to learn how to do a hedgehog in the future, so I figured a porcupine would be a good stepping block down to a hedgehog. Anyways, let's get started. Okay guys, so we're going to start on the clay pieces first, so I think I'm going to start with the head and then we'll move on to making the clay feet. So like always, the clay that I'm using is original Sculpting, and what I'm going to start doing first is I'm going to make a lump of tinfoil for the base, and we're going to start covering this completely in clay. We want a nice thick surface to work with, and then we're going to smooth everything out and get a basic shape for the head defined. And then once we have the basic shape down for the head, we're going to start adding the features to it. Now when you're working with faces, especially of creatures that actually exist, not fantasy creatures, you want to get a lot of references. Honestly, you can do the same thing with fantasy creatures if you want to base them off of something, but for this what we're going to do is we're going to use a lot of references to try and get the position of all the details correct. It might also help if you look up references for skulls for the creatures that you want to do, mainly for the furry ones, because you really can't see the basic shape of it, and since we're going to fur most of this face, we don't need to have it shaped exactly like the shape of the fur. We need to figure out what's under the fur. So I highly recommend for furry creatures to look up bone structures and even muscle structures to try and figure out what's under the fur. So right now the eyes are looking good, but the snout kind of looks off to me. I think what we need to do is add some nice big cheeks to it. So for this, I'm going to roll out 2 even amounts of clay and we're going to kind of smush them onto the front of the face. We're going to use our fingers and our tools to blend this into the rest of the face, and then while we're at it we can kind of define where the mouth is going to go. After we get the placement of the mouth figured out, then we need to figure out where we want the nose. So we're going to add a little bit more clay where that's going to go, and we're going to start defining the nostrils. So we're going to use our tools and just kind of push in until we get the right shape that we want. And then for the cheeks, I kind of want to create like a dimpling effect on them. So I'm going to add little balls of clay on the surface, and then I'm going to use my towel or my washcloth or whatever I want to use to texture the face, and I'm going to start pushing onto the surface. And while I'm adding the texture, I'm also blending in those little balls. Lastly, I'm going to straighten up the base of the head, and then we can put this in the oven at 275 Fahrenheit for probably about 45 to 55 minutes. Okay, so now we're going to start on the clay feet. So of course what we need to do first is we need to have a wireframe to build our feet on. So for this I made a very simple wireframe for each foot. The front feet are going to have 4 digits and then the back feet are going to have 5. The wires that I used for our wireframe are a 16 gauge and a 20 gauge. And then I used a little bit of hot glue to hold everything together, but we're going to make sure this is completely covered in clay so it doesn't seep out when we bake our clay. It's mainly just to have our wires hold still while we put the first layer of clay down. And then once we have that covered and shaped, we're going to add the claws. So for the claws, we're just going to roll out a little bit of clay and we're going to put it at the end of each wire and just use our tools or our fingers or whatever we want to kind of shape it into kind of a point. You don't have to make it super sharp or anything like that, you just want it to kind of have the illusion of being sharp like a claw. And then once we've done this with all 4 of our feet, we're going to bake these in the oven for probably about maybe 20-25 minutes at 275 Fahrenheit. And then once those are out of the oven and have cooled, we can start finishing up the bottoms of the feet. So this is where the main detail is going to be, because I'm going to actually fur the tops of the feet. So with the tops of the feet, we're mainly just laying everything down to have a shape, but for this we're going to add texture and kind of define the features a bit more. So what we're basically doing is we're laying out the clay to make a paw pad and to cover up the wires. So with porcupine feet, they're kind of set up similar to how bear paws are, where it has one big flat portion and then it has a little pad for each toe. And then it's basically the same thing for the front and back feet, except you're dealing with an extra digit for the back foot. So we're going to get that completely covered up, we're going to blend our clay together, smooth everything out, define the features, and then we're going to use a washcloth to add a bit of a texture to the paw pads. Once we like how this looks, we're going to put this in the oven again at 275 Fahrenheit, this time probably about 30-35 minutes just because we're dealing with a little bit more clay. We're going to let that bake, take it out of the oven, let it cool, and then we can work on the tops of the feet. For the tops of the feet, the main features that are going to be shown are going to be the claws and the little bit of skin that goes around the claws. So I am going to define the skin around the claws a little bit, but the rest of the clay is mainly for shape. We're not going to add any detail to this. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a strip of clay for each toe, and we're just going to kind of define it and separate them. And then once we're done with all of the feet, we're going to put these in the oven for one final bake at 275 Fahrenheit, probably about 45 minutes. There's a lot of clay on these right now. And then once those are out of the oven along with the face and they've cooled to touch, we can start on the painting. Okay, so like we did with the clay, we're going to start with the face first, get that painted, and then we'll move on to painting the feet. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to primer our face. Now I'm going to be using a darker color than the fabric that I'm going to use for the body, and that's because these are mainly going to be kind of undertones to the fur. And again, most of this is going to get covered up. If you're curious on the color of the fur I'm using, I'm going to go for more of a grayish kind of black color, and then I'm going to add browns to it later. So you'll see that when we get to the sewing part. After our first layer of paint has dried, we can start adding our details to it and defining the colors. So what we're mainly doing is trying to figure out the color of the skin that's going to be around the features that are not going to get furred. So I figured the colors that would work best would be kind of more of a khaki, a dark brown, and then maybe having like a pinkish purple to have a bit of a skin tone to it. So I'm just going to keep messing around with these colors until I like what it looks like. I'm going to add highlights and stuff like that, and just keep messing around until I like the features. Now you don't need to do a lot of detail with this, we're mainly just trying to get the colors correct. So instead of focusing on detail right now, mainly focus on blending and the colors that you're using. And then once you like the basic colors of the face, everything's blended nicely, we can start adding details to it. So I think we're going to start on the eyes now. So the first thing that I'm going to do with the eyes is I'm going to go over them with a black and just clean them up a bit, because they are kind of messy from the original painting. Now I've done this with other projects before, but what I'm going to do to help define where the pupil is and just kind of lay it out for me is I'm going to take a plastic straw and I'm going to dip it into a color that we want for the eye, and I'm going to push it right onto the eye. This is going to mark out where we want the pupil, and then I can fill it in once that paint has dried. So again, this is just kind of laying out where the pupil is. We will have to touch it up a bit because you won't get a perfect circle. I mean, you may get lucky and get a perfect circle the first time, but I normally don't. Now normally with my pupils I use a black, but I figured to make it look a bit more natural, I'm going to add a little bit of blue to my black. This will make it look a bit more reflective. And then lastly, I'm just going to add a white highlight to it. Okay, so with the feet we're going to do the same thing that we did with the face, and we're going to be primering it. So we're just going to be doing the underside and the claws since the top is going to get furred, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using a bluish gray. So I'm going to go over the bottoms of the feet completely with a light gray. I'm going to let that dry, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take a lighter color and we're going to barely put it on our brush. We're actually going to wipe off more of the paint with a paper towel than we are going to be painting on the foot. We just want kind of a dirty brush but with a lighter color, and then we're just going to kind of go over the surface of the foot. This will catch the paint on the more raised up portions and create a nice little highlight. And then I just need to go over the claws with a black, and then the little skin that goes over the top of them we're just going to go over with a lighter gray. And that's basically all the painting for the feet and the face. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let my painting dry a little bit, and then once that's done drying I'm going to mix up some resin and brush it over the surface portions that we're not going to have covered in fur. So like the eyes, the end of the snout, and then the claws and the bottoms of the feet. So the resin is going to have to cure overnight. It needs about 12 to 48 hours to finish curing. And then after that, we're going to fur the tops of the feet. So I'm going to cut some pieces of fabric to fit on the tops of the feet, and we're going to start gluing this into place. Now you don't need to have it to where you're using a strip of fabric for each toe separately. You can leave it as one solid piece of fabric, but you do need to make sure that you're pushing the fabric in between the toes so the fabric takes the shape of the foot. So when you're gluing everything in, just make sure to kind of push the fabric around the shape of the clay and not just lay it on top. We're going to do this to all 4 of the feet, and then we're going to move on to making some quills. Now for the quills, what we're going to use instead of clay is we're going to use Instamorph. I figured clay would be way too fragile for this, and Instamorph is basically a type of plastic that's moldable. So basically how to use Instamorph is you need to use hot water, so you do need to be very careful. But what you're going to do is you're going to take the amount of Instamorph beads that you want to use, you're going to put it into the hot water, let it sit long enough so it kind of gets all nice and clear and sticky, and then you're going to start sculpting it after you take it out of the water. While you're working with it, you may have to stick it back in the hot water to make it softer here and there because it is going to be drying as you're working with it. And then all I'm actually doing is I'm just trying to roll out a long strip that's slightly tapered at the end. Now you'll need to make a bunch of these, and honestly I probably should have made like twice as many as I did, didn't realize this till later, but this took basically a whole bag of Instamorph, which is quite a lot. So like I said, I'm going to make as many quills as I can. I'm going to let them dry and cool off and stuff. You'll know they're done hardening once they're solid white again, and then we're going to drill some holes at the very base of them. This is going to help us sew them into the fabric for the body. So I'm just going to use my drill for this, and I'm going to drill a hole into the base of each and every quill that we made. And then once we're done drilling our holes, we can start on the painting of the quills. Now for the painting of the quills, I want them to be striped black and white, and I figured since the Instamorph is already white, what we're going to do is we're going to tape off portions of the quills to leave as white. So we're going to go over the whole thing with paint, we're going to let our black paint dry, and then afterwards we can peel off our tape and expose our white stripes. And then after that, once all of our paint has dried and we've peeled our tape, we need to start resining these, just like we did with the clay pieces. So I'm going to be hanging them up using the little holes that we already have, and then we're just going to completely cover them in resin. So I just kind of made a makeshift thing where I could hang them off of the bookshelf above my workspace, and we're just going to completely cover these in resin and let them cure. We will have to watch them because they're going to be dripping, so make sure you have something laid down, and then you also want to wipe away any drips that are building up at the end of them. Okay, so we have the clay pieces finished and the quills, and now we need to start on the sewing. So I have a very simple pattern drawn out, and it's nice and chubby for our little porcupine, and we're going to use this to cut our fabric out. So this is the fabric that I'm going to use. It's kind of a nice light gray with some highlights of black, and of course I'm going to add some browns and stuff later to it. So we're going to need a left and right side piece, a belly piece, and then the inside parts of all of the legs. First bit of sewing that we're going to do is we're going to take the inside parts of the legs, lay them out onto the legs on the side pieces, and we're going to sew down just the front of them. After that, we just need to add the belly piece in between the two layers, so we're going to sew everything together. Once we have our body piece put together, we can start adding the quills to it. So I'm going to start cutting little slits into the sides of the body, and we're going to run our quills into the fabric and then sew them to the fabric. Okay, once all of our quills are in place, we can start adding a wire frame to this, and we can start adding the feet. So we're going to take the wires for the legs and the wires that are sticking out of our clay legs, and we're going to wrap them together. Once we have all the clay legs on the wire frame, we're going to start taking the fabric for the legs and gluing it around the ankles and wrists. We're going to let that dry a little bit, and then we can close up the back of the legs and stuff them. Now we can take the head and we can add it to the wire frame. So we're just going to take some glue, put it into the back of the head, and run the wire for the neck into the head. After that's dried, we can start gluing the fabric for the neck all the way around the base of the head. After the head's in place, we're going to start stuffing and closing up the body. Like I said, I should have made more quills, but honestly, it doesn't look that bad. Okay, now that the body is all put together, we just need to finish up the face. So we're going to start furring the face. So for the larger portions of the face where we want the fur to be longest, we're going to just cut fabric to fit those portions and glue them into place. And then for the shorter fur, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using fur trimmings. We're wanting really fine fur trimmings from the same fabric that we used for the body. So what we're going to do first is we're going to lay down glue where we want the fur to stick. Once we have our glue laid down, we're going to take our fur trimmings and we're going to kind of dust them over the surface, just kind of push them into place, make sure it's sticking to the glue, and then we're going to brush off any extra fur that's not sticking. While the glue is still wet, we can use our tools to kind of move the fur around a little bit and just make sure it's covering everything correctly. This of course needs to dry a little bit, and then once it's dried we can start painting our fur. So for the fur we're going to use some watered down browns and then maybe some grays. And then we're just going to brush this into the fur where we want the colors, and we're just going to blend it in with our brushes. Okay guys, and that's how I made a porcupine. I had a lot of fun with this project. The only thing I need to do is probably practice using less materials to make the quills. Maybe I could have made them shorter or thinner, I don't know, but I ended up using quite a bit of Instamorph, and I'd like to try and use the same amount and get more quills out of it. Anyways guys, I'm going to have him along with a bunch of other creatures in my Etsy shop, so make sure to check the links down below for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!